Alright, welcome back to some Nebulous Fleet Command. A video this time rather than a stream. I've got a few videos for Nebulous planned coming up, but this is something that I'm doing a little bit spontaneously. I'm actually going to play through a single player campaign today, because one of the members of the community, someone called Not So Lone Wolf, has actually released an OSP Campaign mod that acts both as an introduction to the faction with a little bit of the lore and how the war starts for them, but also as a tutorial for the OSP, which is something the game actually really needs. There's already an existing tutorial for the ANS faction, which very highly recommended if you want to jump into multiplayer to run through these, but you can use this as an introduction to how to play the OSP as well, which is very valuable. My plan is to play through all of the missions in this, put together a little video collection. If you want to try it out yourself, I have a link to the mod below. Just make sure you follow the install instructions that are on the Steam Workshop page, because you might have to re-enable a mod that comes with this mod to work before it'll appear in the menu for you, but it's pretty easy to work out. And yeah, let's jump through it and see what it's got going for it. So the campaign is called Exception to the Rule. After a century without any external threat to bind them together, tensions between the Shelter Alliance's member nations have exploded into open war. The Outlying Systems Protectorate has claimed its independence, but how long it will last remains to be seen. The Alliance Navy readies itself for an assault through the Crebensis Bethel hyperspace gate, aiming to crush the upstart rebellion in one swift stroke. Take command of the reactivated cruiser OSPN Exception to the Rule in the war's opening stage, and face down the behemoth that approaches. Sounds pretty cool. Ticks a lot of boxes for me. We've got an underdog. We've got what sounds like one named ship. We've got the start of a war. We've got behind enemy lines. There's a lot of really cool tropes in military science fiction. We've got 4 missions to play through in this campaign. The first one is Engagement 1, Wide Open. The people of Bethel, Roclaren, and Pixis have seized their freedom, but it may not last the year. To buy time for the gate blockade to be assembled, the OSP must take the war to the Alliance. Unexpectedly promoted into command, prove yourself at the helm of your new ship, hunt down an Alliance patrol in deep space, and secure a hyperspace emergence point for the rest of the battle group. Sounds excellent. Alright, we have 2 ships for this mission, the OSPN Exception to the Rule and a Settle-class command cruiser. Our primary armament here is 3 Mark 65 cannons. That's a triple-barreled 250mm cannon, usually loaded with AP or HE rounds. Very good gun, lots of firepower. Not the best against extremely heavy ships, but fantastic against anything from a light cruiser down. We've got 4 Mark 90 Aurora PDTs. This is a laser-based point defense system. Very, very good. Usually quite pricey and difficult to place on a ship. The Ocello is the only ship in the OSPN faction that can actually mount this. We've got 2 VLS-2 missile launchers. These are roll-off missile launchers, so they use the internal magazine of the ship to load the missiles and launch them. Whereas we also have a VLS-123, and this is a vertical launch system that cannot be reloaded from inside the ship. The missiles are just basically installed in the hull and launched out of it. This will probably be holding a lot of chaff, flares, and AMMs to shoot down incoming missiles, so it's usually a defensive system. We also have an RF-101 Bullseye radar. This is a really good, reasonably ranged radar that you can use to get an active lock on a radar signal, which is just fantastic. We also have the OSPN Trespassers Will Be Shot, which is a tugboat class clipper. If you don't know the OSPN faction, a lot of their ships are repurposed cargo ships. They're basically trying to put together a military fleet by repurposing civilian ships, and this used to be a tug. It is a militarized now, but you'll see it still has its docking clamps and stuff on it. This comes with a C-30 cannon, which is a quad-barreled 100mm cannon that's mounted on the front of the ship. There's a spinal mount there, or casement mount, I should say. It also has an R550 early warning radar, which is a unique piece of OSPN kit that can be used to detect ships from very, very far away. It doesn't give a particularly good track. You can't fire on the track, but it tells you where they are. There's also 2 P11 Pavis PBTs, which are just an okay PDT. I'm not going to talk a lot about that. Okay, let's have a look at our mission summary here. Weeks since the divide, 5. OSPN Emperor Reverse, Intraship Mail. From Nuvens to B Stratus. Stratus. I've got news for you. Constantine gave me one of the newly reactivated cruisers from the Roclaren mothball yards. A rusty old bucket, but a true warship. It's better than any of our converted freighters, and there's no way in hell I'm taking it. I built my flagship with grit, spit, and a whole lot of duct tape. I'm not trading her out just on the old man say so. Also, equally as importantly, I'm not driving one of those fucking missile-proof heavy armored military ships into battle. Hell no, I'm a real spacer. So getting back to my point, I figured this sort of cowardly asset would be right up your alley. I'll be sad not to have you on board as XO to second guess all of my genius plans, but it's about time you got a ship of your own. Okay, enough praise. You're gonna have to get this bitch and her crew into shape real fast, because we've got a job to do. The reason we're getting new metal is because within the month we'll be heading into Crebensis to do some old-fashioned convoy raiding. Defenses in Bethel are far from ready. If the Alliance pushes through the Crebensis Bethel gate now, the OSP is truly and well fucked. Our job is to blow up a few freighters, slow the enemy build up on their side of the gate, and buy Constantine some goddamn time. You'll probably be going in with the first wave along with a sensor vessel or two to clear out any pickets at the system edge, so get her ready ASAP. Also, I'm not supposed to be telling anyone the mission yet, just as I'm technically not supposed to pawn off command of our most capable combat unit onto my trusty XO, so keep this info to yourself, you hear? Vance. So a little bit of background really quickly. The Cello-class command cruiser is a mothballed Alliance Navy ship that's been replaced by the Axford and the Solomon. It kind of sits somewhere in between the two of them, and the OSP have managed to get hold of a huge stockpile of mothballed ships and are bringing them back online. But they're like 100 years out of date, these ships. They're still better than pretty much anything else the OSP could field in terms of a pure warship. Let's jump into the mission and see what we're dealing with. Okay, there's our two ships in what looks to be deep space. Yep, there's nothing here. Oh, we got some plot. Check, check. You reading me, Stratus? Loud and clear, Captain. We've made emergence from hyperspace alive and intact. Glad to hear some good news for once. We've lost a fourth ship to this damn place, and more reporting damage and radiation casualties. I mean, I knew the attrition rate on gateless travel was bad, but we need to emerge to real space as soon as possible. Oh, I can't hide that, okay. Which means you have to get to work. The Alliance Navy Manual on System Defense 101 says you put at least something watching every Lagrange point at the system edge, and those bastards always stick to procedure. There's bound to be a patrol or something here. They probably already detected your arrival and are moving in to investigate. The rest of the battle group will be at the emergence point in about half an hour, assuming nothing else goes wrong. You need to take out the patrol before then. We don't want the Alliance getting a count of our numbers when we emerge. I'll throw up some likely locations on the TAC map. See what okay, we've got point A, point B, and point C. Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. First real combat engagement. How are you feeling? There should be a cakewalk with your shiny new cruiser, but still, needing last-minute wisdom to calm the nerves. So this is where we get to ask for the tutorial if we want it. Since I'm showing this off, I'm going to let the tutorial run. Yes, ma'am. Aye, Captain. That would be appreciated. Alright, let's run down what you've got available. The Exception is an Aceto-class cruiser, more than a century old, but still a solid workhorse with a medium-range gun battery as primary armament and a secondary complement of missiles. In terms of point defenses, she used to be fitted with Defender PDTs, but during refit we swapped them for a handful of Aurora PDTs we acquired from a defector. So these are the PDTs here. The ship's tubes are loaded with Thunderhead 4 cruise missiles. The 4 variant was used to evade ballistic guns, but gets hard stopped by flak turrets, so probe the enemy with a smaller salvo first and pick your targets carefully. The urge to fire everything can be strong at times, but with a launch volume of only 6 missiles per salvo, you're better off waiting until your cannons can damage the target and reduce its defenses. The ship sports a very expensive and incredibly useful Bullseye FCR, which is down here, this is it here, which can lock any target within 9 kilometers, improving weapon accuracy by a metric shit ton. Use the lock button in the orders menu. After that, fire away with the 250mm battery. Use HE versus small ships or AP against cruisers and capitals. However, it can take a while to finish off a larger ship without missile support. The battle doctrine from the Groznovian War, when the Aceto class was in active service, says that it was designed to fight the enemy bow on. It's a bitch to try and land a solid hit on this beast from an angled frontal aspect. Use the heading order in the direction of loyalist scum to point the bow towards them. Bow tanking, as we call it, also means you can fire all 4 PDTs against missile threats, compared to the 2 PDTs that each broadside can muster. So yeah, it makes more sense to put, so rather than having the ship facing the enemy like this, make sure the enemies see the ship like this. All of your guns can fire them, it's well defended, and it's harder to hit. So you just need to use the heading command, which is available under the move orders, I'll show it in a second, to make sure you do that. Next up, the Trespasser. This is the Trespasser here. She's a Dragger-class tugboat, like most of our ships built for civilian use and only recently militarized. Boats like this can't take much of a punch, their armor and point defenses are not up to par, so keep her out of the line of fire or stay within the point defense bubble of the Exception. If forced into fighting, she has a casemate, this thing here, that can tangle with small threats using 100mm HE or contribute against damaged medium ships with 100mm AP. The 100mm AP is not going to do much against anything over the size of a frigate, probably. However, her refit plan did include one very important asset, the early warning radar, this big array here. Accessed in the orders menu's EW section, this device can be tasked to scan a wide cone of space for targets. Any tracks found will have utterly garbage accuracy though, denoted by the bouncing dot near the track. Don't try firing missiles at it, trust me. Find the enemy with EWR, set heading towards them, lock a target, fire away. I got it. If you have trouble doing all that in the stress of battle, you can make it easier for yourself. Your command interface has the active pause functionality, but you need to enable it in the accessibility settings. Once that's done, you can toggle it by pressing Control Space. We won't be using that. You can do this, Stratus. I know you never saw combat, but the stuff you learned long ago at the Naval Academy is still useful. Interesting. I doubt the OSP had a Naval Academy long ago. I wonder if this person is ex-ANS. Remember it. Now get out of here and give him hell. Alright, we are now in control of our ships. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the Trespassers Will Be Shot's early warning radar to detect where the enemy are. This is an open area of space. It's just abyssal. There's no cover here. There's no rocks or anything. So we'll right click to open up the command window. We'll select EW and we'll select the early warning radar. We now need to give it a vector to point towards. I'm just going to use the 90, 45, and 00 as a way to cut through the battle space. So you can see this cone turns on. Any ships within this cone will return a radar track to us. It's a very powerful radar. It's just not very good at actually finding a good track in terms of something for targeting. Nothing is showing up in this direction. Let's use the 45 as our next one. We'll see if anything appears while we sweep across. Not seeing anything here, so I'm going to use electronic warfare again. Early warning radar pointing this way. See if we pick up any tracks. Oh, there you go. And you can see the radar actually turns as well. We have sensor track. Helmsman, take us in. We'll have target lock capability at 9 kilometers. So let's get the OSP and accept to the rule, moving towards these sensor tracks. I'm going to get the Trespasser to just move up above the plane a little bit so it's not in the same plane as this ship, just so they don't bump into each other. I'm going to give a heading command towards this target, which is on the same plane as us, or just below it. And then what I want to do is make sure that this ship has a command to actually point its radar towards these ships so we never lose them again. Because what would happen is I've got it pointed towards a point here, and they would move out. Okay, looks like a light cruiser and some escorts. Unless they have missiles, the cruiser's most dangerous by far. I'd make it your priority target. So we've got a light cruiser coming up on track. This is all we can see right now. It's just we are getting a sensor return from this location. Once the exception to the rule is within 9 kilometers of this target, we will be able to lock it with our fire control radar, and then I think we need to be within 8 kilometers, 8,000 kilometers, so 8 kilometers for our primary weapons to work against it. Let's just make sure we're constantly updating our heading to point towards the enemy. We don't want to make sure we're coming at them at an angle. We want to make sure we've got the best coverage possible. And I want to make sure the exception to the rule is kind of staying behind the... Sorry, the Trespassers Will Be Shot is staying behind the exception to the rule so it doesn't get ambushed by anything. What I'm going to do is check our guns. They are preloaded with HE. Oh, we've got a second target. We've got something else popping up. We're probably going to focus on this main target here. This is a Vauxhall. That's a light cruiser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload these to AP. And I'm going to do that by pressing reload. No, I think I have to actually select the target. That's okay. We can do that to basically pre-fire them. And you'll see all the guns are now reloading down here with the new round type. That just means that when we get into range, they'll instantly start firing those weapons. While they're flashing blue, that means they're ready to fire, but they don't have an act. They're not in range, or they don't have a valid track, etc. Let's just make sure again that our heading is correct. I think our heading is a little bit off. So right click, go to the move menu, select heading, and then I'm just going to basically just point it down towards these ships. And then we'll just check how things are going with the Trespassers Will Be Shot. I don't want the Trespassers Shot to get too far away, so I'm just going to tell it to turn around right now. It can be a little bit static. We are now coming up on 9,000 kilometers out. I'm going to attempt to lock the target. We're not quite in range yet. Oh, we've got a lock. That's great. So this is now our primary target. What I'm also going to do is we do have access to these Thunderhead 4s. I'm going to fire off a couple of them just to see what the enemy's PD is like. I'm not going to fire a ton. We're just going to fire 2, and they should come out of the roll-ons. They're just programming the missiles now, so they need to be programmed for the mission they're being set to, and then they'll launch when they finish programming. So it looks like they're actually loaded into VLS-2s, and not what we thought they were loaded into, which was roll-off launchers. So it might need to be updated a little bit in the pre-mission video. And now we're both firing at each other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly order the exception to the rule, to reverse, because I don't want those other ships to get in range. We're trading fire with the Vauxhall. We're both firing 250mm AP at each other. And let's just see how these missiles do as they approach the target. That's a bit too bright. Okay, we've got 100mm HE being fired by this ship here. It's also launching flak, and we've got ballistic PDT as well. So it looks like, can I get a quick glance at the ship here? That's a flak cannon. So these sprinters have flak on them, which is going to stop us from firing our missiles. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to relock onto one of these sprinters. I'm going to switch to HE. I'm actually going to try and pound down the sprinters, take them out of combat as quickly as possible. We're going to back up our ship. We're going to back up the Trespassers Will Be Shot, take it up quite high. I don't want it to get into this engagement, and we're going to try and take the sprinters out first, which means we'll be able to then switch to the Vauxhall and kill it with missiles, rather than having to, slowly drill away at it with AP. Now, the sprinters are shooting at us with 100mm HE. That's really not going to do anything to this ship. It has sufficient armor to protect itself against that. So HE obviously stands for high explosives. AP is for armor piercing. So we just need to keep that on. This is saying it's at condition 14%. That's our intel center. I think we have an intel center. Yeah, we have an intelligence center here. So what that actually does is it gives us a lot of information on these ships. It's how we know what they are so quickly. We know this is a Vauxhall. We know this is a Sprinter. And this tells us the condition of the ship. Now, don't always trust your intel team. They're telling me this ship is at 14% condition. We've only been firing at it for a couple of seconds. I would expect it to take more than that to take this out. What I'm probably going to do is fire at it for another couple of seconds, then we're going to switch to the other Sprinter, fire at it for maybe 30 seconds, and then we'll try launching another missile barrage, and we'll see what the state of that is. We've still got good sensor lock on them. We're still backing up, which is nice. We're not letting them close too close to us. Okay, I'm going to switch targets now. So to lock to this target, I'm going to fire HE at it instead. And we'll see how this goes. This is now saying that it's condition 90%. So yeah, don't trust your intel 100%. According to our intel team, this is at condition 5%. So definitely don't rely on those figures. We're starting to take a little bit of damage here. Our CIC is on fire, our reinforced CIC. One of our PDTs is also damaged. Nothing serious left. We've lost a lot of thrusters at the front of the ship. That kind of happens when you're taking armor-piercing fire from the front. Let's just make sure we're updating our heading, because that is a little bit off. So I just want to make sure that we are pointing towards this guy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire off another missile barrage now and just see what the state of their PD is like. Because once we've got the PD down, we should just be able to crush this Vauxhall with a missile barrage and not have to worry about dueling it like this. One of our PDTs is currently down. It's actually being destroyed. I'm going to restore it. So we've damage control teams are running across the ship repairing stuff. I've got the ability to restore components. I'm using supplies on the ship, but I can only do it a limited number of times. We've also lost, we lost our antenna at the front of the ship as well, which isn't ideal. But we have a backup antenna. So let's see what the PDT, the point defense situation is like now that we've been attacking these ships for a couple of seconds. We're down to 20 minutes on the battle. Okay, we still have flak being fired, so these aren't quite ready to fire yet. Status of this guy, he's definitely taking hits, but he's still in the fight. We just want to make sure we wipe him out. So you can see here the Vauxhall, it is littered with turrets. It is a very scary ship to fight indeed. How are we doing? Aurora is back online soon. DC lockers are damaged. Reinforced CIC is damaged. We've lost everything at the front of the ship, but it's not the end of the world. I think we're going to have to start moving this way, because we're going to hit the edge of the battle space pretty soon. So let's just tell everyone to move along this axis. And then I just want to make sure that our heading command is still correct, which is good. Taking quite a beating here. There's a lot of fire coming in on us. This is quite a hard engagement. Just gotta hope that 100mm HE doesn't get through our damaged armor. Again, our intel team are telling us we've really badly damaged the Sprinter. I'm not believing it. As long as it's still shooting at us, we're still seeing it firing, I'm pretty sure that it is not dead. I think the problem we're having is our 250mm high explosive rounds are actually penetrating it and going all the way through without exploding sometimes. It also has a very small profile, so you can see only one shot hit from that barrage. It may have been a mistake to go after the ship, but I felt like it was the right call, considering we can just take out the Vauxhall with a missile barrage once the Sprinters are taken care of, and they are comparatively easy to destroy. I was about to say it looks like he stopped firing at us, but he's still firing at us. Only one HE round hit there. Come on. I'm wondering if I'm in range to actually engage with... no, we need to be within 7,200 meters, and I don't really want to risk... I don't really want to risk our ship that much. How are we doing here? That Aurora, another Aurora has gone offline, or that Aurora got destroyed again. Nothing serious is offline. All of these grade components are destroyed, but none of them are mission critical. Just the biggest issue is our thruster performance is down. Let's just update our heading here. Just need to take out this. Okay, this Sprinter seems to be maybe lagging behind a little bit. Is it still firing? It might be reloading right now. I think it has potentially stopped firing. So I'm going to switch to the other Sprinter. How are we doing? We've lost a DC locker. We've lost an Aurora. Losing that locker is quite bad because it's lost us a bunch of our restores. We are starting to lose. This is not going great. We've lost another DC locker. We've lost the thruster bank, a thruster bank, antenna, 2 thruster banks. So it's starting to cleave through us. I definitely think this Sprinter is in trouble. I'm going to just fire off another missile, 2 missiles, and see what the result of that is. Because if we're getting close to that critical moment where we can take these guys out, that'll be great. You're getting a little bit far away. So let's just bring you back in a little bit. Actually, that's taking you way outside the battle space. Let's just let you get a hold here. Okay, here go the missiles. Let's see how this barrage goes. Okay, Okay, we have a new contract coming out of that Sprinter. That means that Sprinter is launching escape pods. We can mark that as killed. So that Sprinter is dead. So I was right to notice that it had stopped firing. It was out of the battle at that point. Okay, we're getting... Okay, there's still flak coming, but the flak is light. And you can see these missiles are actually pathing really nicely through. They got shot down there because the flak from this Sprinter came online, but once the Sprinter is down and it doesn't look very happy, we should be able to kill this Voxel with a missile barrage. In fact, the Sprinter's engine looks like it's struggling a little bit. You can see it's sputtering here. We lost visual on them again. Let's just update our heading again. I'm wondering about restoring one of our DC lockers to get the restores back, because they each have a restore in them, but that's kind of redundant. We restore it to get a restore. Our radar has gone. We need to restore that. That needs to be online. So I've sent a DC team to restore the radar. Okay, this Sprinter now looks like it has stopped firing and has fallen behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock you. I'm going to switch to AP, and then I'm going to launch a couple. I'm going to launch 2 salvos at the Voxel, because this looks like it's fallen behind and it might be out of the fight now as well. And these missile salvos should be the way we win this fight. So we've got 5 Thunderheads in each salvo. Here's the first salvo coming in. Getting good hits on the Voxel. It's a much bigger target. Its PDTs just can't deal with the weaving these missiles are coming in with. Most of them are going to get through. 3. Oh, actually, they all got shot down just before they hit. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. Here comes another wave, though. They should need to reload in a second. Oh, they're taking all of those out as... Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to go in again with another... I'm actually going to just fire everything we've got left. Because that was pretty impressive. I didn't expect them to make it through that. Did I just pick up a new sensor contact? No, I didn't. Let's see how this missile barrage goes. This all comes down to these missile attacks, really. They're how we're going to kill this ship. With 6 birds in the water, 10 birds in the water right now. Okay, that's the bullseye radar back online. Let's see if these do a little bit better. That's 1 down, 2 down. It's just doing so well at taking them out. Yeah, that's all of them down. We're not going to get any missiles through, are we? These defenders should need to reload at some point, though. Even with 2 of them, they're just cutting through everything we're firing. Oh, there you go. They're out of ammo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 direct hits. That's going to do tons of damage. Unfortunately, we've got 1 more missile coming in, and that's going to be it. So we missed with most of our barrages, but this last lot should do significant damage. You can see it stopped firing back at this point. That's very good for us. I'm just going to adjust our heading command again. Yeah, we're a little bit off on the heading. Okay. It took a while, but it looks like we're going to win this engagement now. Missiles just make the difference. They do so much damage if they can manage to get through the point defense network. I maybe fired them a little bit early there because I wanted to because I thought I could get through just the 2 defenders. The 2 defenders did a great job. I keep hearing new radar tracks, and I'm just really worried about what that could mean, but nothing so far. This Sprinter doesn't look like it's dead yet, but it seems to be dead in the water. No, it's actually moving, potentially. And the Voxel is now firing back at us. Okay. I'm tempted just to close with the Voxel to get us a better targeting solution on it. There you go, we can see it now. Condition is 28%. It's apparently not under command at the moment, which means the CIC is on fire or damaged. So that should mean that we're going to take it down pretty quickly. This is a pretty good introduction, honestly, on how to play OSP, because we've just been bow tanking with this Acela this whole time, and it has done a fantastic job of just taking these hits. We've just dealt with 3 ships to 1, which has been pretty great. Ship is still fighting. Looks like some of the turrets aren't quite tracking properly, though. You can see how this one's not pointing in the right direction. Oh, what is shooting at us? Oh, it's the Sprinter. Okay, the Sprinter is still in the fight as well. We could maybe switch to HE here. I think we're just going to stick with the AP, though. We're getting really good hits. The engines are off. We're just waiting for them basically to call it. What I might do is bring in the Trespassers will be shot at this point. It's actually in range to fire at this with its HE. Actually, if I get you to shoot at the sprinter, that would be better. Because you could take it out for me. We're right up against the edge of the battle space as well. Let's actually bring you up and over this guy. Just so you're coming into the battle space. And I'm actually going to bring this ship in as well. Okay, the Vauxhall has completely stopped returning fire. I think it's pretty... Oh, there you go. The bridge lights have just gone out. That's usually a sign that the ship is dead. I'm going to lock onto this guy here and switch to our HE and finish him off. Yeah, bridge lights have gone red. That's a sign the ship is out of action. So we'll just need to focus down the sprinter with our HE now. There's a 100mm HE coming in on. That will be very accurate. 100mm is actually very accurate, fast-firing round. You can see how fast this ship here is just firing those out from its little nose cannon. Missile inbound. Oh, we got a missile. Spiker. Okay, something is shooting missiles at us from the side here. You need to get down towards the ship really quickly. You need to pull up and get... Oh no, did that wrong. Get down to the exception to the rule. Exception to the rule. You need to get up really quickly. Something is coming from the side. Other enemy contact just popped up on the sensor. I don't know that's why they separated from the main patrol. They just got 2 massive hits through on the trespass will be shot. We have a new radar contact. Can I get the early warning radar pointing towards that? We need to lock whatever this is. This is a new threat. What have we got? Warship. Information pending. This sprinter is looking offline as well. These 2 ships look like they're offline. But what are we dealing with? Let's get a new heading command programmed in, pointing towards this new target. I don't know if we've got the health to take this thing out. Can we get a lock on it, please? And can we switch to... I'm going to fire AP at it until I know what it is. It's a destroyer? Okay, we've got a destroyer. I can fire HE at a destroyer. That means it's a keystone. Benji, that's a beam destroyer. You have to keep your distance, otherwise the exception is fucking dead. Maximum range on it is 6 kilometers. The effective is increasing the closer you get. What's it at? 7,000. Okay, we need to angle away from it. We don't have a lot of room here. Let's angle up and away. Let's keep this ship as well close by. It's got incoming missiles. We need to hope these Auroras do their job. Missiles in the void. Stand by point defense. All hands brace for impact. Yeah, but they're firing at the wrong ship. They're firing at the trespassers will be shot. Oh no, they're coming in on us. And that's the Auroras doing their job. Okay, battle shot the Auroras. Okay, good. So battle shot there basically overdrives the gun. It does damage to it, but I think we needed to do that there. I want to continue shooting at this sprinter with the other ship. But we need to deal with this guy. Unfortunately, because we've lost our forward-facing thrusters, it's going to take us a really long time to turn around. And the closer this ship gets, the more trouble we're in. The Rupture Rendition, it's a keystone. We're in big trouble. This thing, if this thing definitely does have a beam laser, it will cut our ship to pieces if it gets into range. I might actually be better off dropping rather than going up. Just because I'm going to have to pass by the front of the ship to do that. And what we'll do is we'll get the trespassers will be shot to run this way. We just have to hope we can do enough damage with HE before it gets into range. It's actually on the edge of range right now. I'm going to flank speed. I'm not going to hit evade just yet. Flank speed will give us a little bit of extra speed, but we're changing direction right now. So we're having to decelerate then accelerate. That was a nasty surprise, throwing a keystone in here. I was just talking about how great we done in the mission, and then this thing shows up. Let's give another heading command. Let's just make sure we're facing directly towards it, so that beam does as little damage to our flanks as possible. The one good news is this thing doesn't have long range, so we can do a lot of damage to it before it actually gets us. What I want to do is just bring you down like to here, and the hope that you can just keep firing at these 2. I'm honestly certain the sprinter's dead, but we'll see. Good job, the 250mm is the perfect thing to fire against this destroyer. Apparently it's within 5,000 kilometers, sorry, 5 kilometers, so it should be able to fire its beam at us. It hasn't done so yet, so the hope is the HE that we're firing at the bow of the ship has done the job, and potentially taken it out. All of our damage control teams are at work repairing our thrusters because we're flank driving, which will damage them. Intel says it's at 100%. How is the trespassers will be shot doing? How are you doing, Vauxhall? Vauxhall's back online. Do you have AP? Hit this thing with AP. Because that Vauxhall's back online, it will shoot us in the ass in a second. But we have to focus on this keystone. I wish I'd kept some missiles in the tubes for this. We have nothing else to fire at this. It obviously had some missiles available as well that it opened up with. That's good hits though. Really good hits on those shots. Come on. I can't believe they did that. I really was not expecting to see a to see another ship show up in this fight. It's closing. I think it's going after the trespassers will be shot. That might be why it hasn't fired at the exception to the rule yet. We're getting really good hits though, like fantastic hits. There's only 6 minutes left in this engagement as well, and I need to feel still... Okay, it says they've evacuated this ship, so I'm going to mark it killed. And it says the loaded question is immobilized. And it says this is down to 80% condition. I think we've made it combat incapable. It hasn't fired the beam yet. We just need to get this thing to evacuate. A little bit worried that we're not going to finish this in time. This has been a pretty hot half hour, actually. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, they're missiles. I thought they were escape pods. It's firing off some missiles. They're firing towards the trespassers will be shot. That's not good for us. We're probably gonna... We might lose it here. Head this way. Flank evade. Okay, the Aurors... Okay, the Aurors took them off. It's fine. Keep running. Keep running the way you're running. But actually, no, let's get you behind the exception to the rule. I think that's more important. Have you taken this thing out yet? Oh, your AP is actually penetrating the keystone. That's hilarious. Okay. Please keep pounding away at this, this foxhole. Keep pounding away at this ship for me. Make sure our heading command is correct. Because if it does decide to shoot at us, we will be in a lot of trouble. Powering this down to 66% condition. We've got 5 minutes left. Getting quite a spray of shots there. You can see the rate of fire on the 250mm is actually very impressive. It's just constantly throwing out shells. Getting really good hits here. I think these are hitting the side. I'm wondering about switching to firing at this with HE because the armor's probably crushed. Let's just see if we can do anything with HE on it. We probably can't. I'm probably making a mistake there, but look at the damage on the exception to the rule. Come on. One of these ships needs to die. I'm telling them to come down with the exception to the rule. This isn't the most... This is like a tense battle, but because there's no cover or rocks or anything, it means there's not a lot of hide and seek, which is actually a big part of the OSP and gameplay. But it's still a pretty cool fight. It's definitely a underdog fight. If they'd hit us with all of this at once, I think we'd have been in a lot of trouble. We've definitely taken a lot of damage. Can we just take this guy? I think they may be immobilized, because they're not closing with us particularly quickly, although they are heading towards the trespassers will be shot. I'm hoping that we've done enough damage to this side of the ship that the HE will do something, because the armor can be destroyed if I understand the mechanics correctly. It's another good set of shots. Let's update our heading. Make sure we're still bow tanking. I think the keystone might... No, the keystone is still moving. Yeah, it's still moving. We should be doing so much damage to it, though. Oh, did you just shoot? Did I just see the Vauxhall fire? Yeah, the Vauxhall is now firing on... The trespassers will be shot. So let's switch back to AP. Ugh, I can't believe we're probably going to fail this mission by not killing everything in time. What I'm going to do is actually bring these guys back up. Get them back into this fight a little bit. 35% it says on this thing's condition. I'm going to switch targets at 2 minutes remaining to try and finish off the Vauxhall. This thing has to be about to die. We've been pounding on it with high explosive for so long. I know you're under fire, trespassers. You're doing a great job. They've got one active gun on this ship. In fact, if I bring you back up, I think you'll get out of that gun's firing arc. There's no way this ship is still alive. We've done so much damage to it. Like, almost all of these shots are direct hits. And we're definitely shooting at the flank of the ship, which against the keystone is enough to kill it. I want to set you to evade. I want to take flank and evade. I want to take you off flank speed. I just realized I left you on that. It's going to be wrecking your engines. Okay, it's 2 minutes. I'm going to fire off this last barrage. And then I'm going to switch targets to the Vauxhall. to try and finish it. And hopefully we've done enough damage to this that it dies in the meantime. At 1 minute, I'm going to switch back. I'm also going to clear that at this point, there's no point keeping the heading command. We'll just let the ship orientate as fast as possible. We're going to get a nice broadside here. And that's all going to miss. I'm going to order an all stop. Yeah, that's better. I can't believe the ship got back online. Can't believe both of these ships are still here. How badly damaged is this thing? It looks pretty good. That beam at the front is sparking though. I think that's been destroyed. Let this one more barrage fire and then we'll switch targets again. The bridge lights have just gone off, so we're going to switch back to this. Got 50 seconds left. I don't think we're going to do it. See those turrets turn. Don't even think we're going to get shot off before the mission ends. Bridge lights are again off. It says immobilized. Looks like that barrage mostly missed. Come on, these hits are good. 22 seconds. I don't know what happens if we haven't taken the ship out at the end of the mission. We've done so much damage to it though. It's effectively dead. I'm pretty sure that beam is offline. Is it going to let us win? Hold fire. All enemy contacts have been destroyed or disarmed. With 4 seconds to go, we did it. Excellent work, Stratus. We'll get your logistic ships to work on the damage as soon as we arrive. In the meantime, prep your crew for lifeboat recovery and prisoner interrogation. I can't believe we won that with 4 seconds to go. Has this lights actually gone off? No, lights are. I must have made it combat incapable. Oh, that was very close. Yeah, no offensive ability at 2953. Okay, well, that was a nail biter, but we got there. So we did 26,858 damage, received 6,096, repaired 2,339. We used 40% of our combat load. We were in combat contact for 25 minutes. Thrusters will be shot. Actually, didn't take as much damage as I thought it did. The AP did a lot more work than the HE. Here, our HE did 23% of the damage it should have done. Our AP did 43%. So maybe I should have been firing, I potentially should have been firing AP at this, the Rupture rendition. But that is the first mission of the campaign. I know it wasn't like a stunningly dramatic ballet of ships, but it's a pretty good slugfight. And it gives you an idea of what's to come in terms of plot and stuff. I will be playing through the rest of the campaign. I hope you join it for me. And I'll catch you in the next video. But for now, enjoy some Nebulous Fleet Command. And I'll see you later. Ciao.